Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on the video from a Grand Line Review, and I think in this one we're going to find out what he thought of the recent chapter of One Piece 1050. I thought it was amazing. Kaido, just done. Big Mom, done. Like I said in O'Hara's, I hope they're not completely out of it. I would like something to happen where they come back and Kaido recognises Luffy as Joy Boy and then like protects him from some other things so that he can continue his journey. But anyway, let's see what Grand Line Review has to say on this, shall we?
Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. My name is Liam and
I'm excited that Hunter's back, yes.
Did you know that Wano has lasted almost as long as World War I did in real time? So this
What?
chapter marks the beginning of a new era, and the out-of-context summary
That's crazy.
is as follows. For the past 4 years, we've seen the Fellowship of the Raid, the two
Yes.
Emperors, and now finally, the return of the Shogun. And apparently, one does not simply walk into Onigashima, unless of course one is a cartoon reality-bending rubber boy, in which case...
It is crazy what he's able to do now.
The fish dragon back into the fire from whence it came. Job done.
Be gone.
Wano saved. Next arc, please. By the way, this
Next
amazing
arc, please.
drawing was done by one of our even more amazing channel artists. And 3 lucky subscribers from this video are going to win a custom artwork requesting whatever they like. Whether it's a female Frankie, a delicious pot of Odin, or even
A delicious pot of
To win,
Odin.
simply be subscribed to the channel and leave a 1-sentence comment with your art request. And yes, you do need to be subscribed because YouTube shows me a little red dot next to your name, so...
It does.
You
It
will
does.
also receive a high-quality digital copy of your request, as well as have it featured in future videos, becoming part of Grand Line Review history. Alright, so let's talk about victory, and/or defeat.
Hell, yes.
It depends which side you're on.
I suppose it
feel like
does.
I've spoiled a lot lately, but this chapter for me was just... it was another solid shot of euphoria. Concepts like Kaido being defeated take a lot of processing power to really compute in my mind, because the impression that's been built up over the past decade is just this hulking mass of completely unbeatable and unstoppable.
Yeah, he is meant to be an
Something
unstoppable
that
force, man.
we'll
He's
never be
the
able to
strongest.
overcome. And then when I see Kaido face down in defeat mode, covered in magma, mind you, but I see him like that, and it's just like, wow. We're finally here. And I
Yeah,
really
what a
like that
journey,
this
man.
wasn't just a focus on Kaido, but also
Big Mom as
Mom. It
well,
drew this
yeah.
funky little map thing, showing the holes that they both made, and had Kaido next to Big Mom in the magma. Or I guess that's debatable. I've seen a lot of people saying that like circular blob next to Kaido was actually his fluffy coat, and maybe it is, but I think that this is an Occam's razor situation, where the simplest answer is most likely the correct one. And when it comes to round blobs, nobody does those better than Big Mom. So I think it's her. But my greater point here is that seeing them in the magma together really hits home that this right here is the end of an era. The two physically most powerful living things in this world.
Two of the emperors, man.
Into the fire like some sort of evil ring.
That's like
It's
three.
quite
That's 3 of the 4
satisfying
emperors
answer to
down.
what was, and I guess may still be, a very real problem. Even with everything that's happened, I could never see Luffy like properly taking down Kaido, or Big Mom for that matter. They are just too damn powerful.
Yeah, man.
So letting nature do some of that heavy lifting is something I'm quite a fan of. And I guess the question now becomes, are Big Mom and Kaido going to die? And I hate this question, because One Piece has convinced me that death is almost never an option.
Never an option,
What else
yeah.
can you do? These two emperors are very, very unlikely to have their dreams crushed like Luffy's other opponents, so they simply need to be removed from action as permanently as possible, and one answer to that kind of permanency would be death. Alternatively, they could survive,
But I don't want them to die.
severely injured by the magma that they could never seriously rise to power again. But then again, like, that eruption, man, that was a big boom. And
Big
these
boom
emperors
indeed.
were right at the worst possible point of said big boom. Then again, if Pell can survive a point-blank bomb, then look, they can survive this. So
That's
I
very true.
wouldn't be surprised if they do emerge somehow. I also found it quite fun that the narrator had to deal with a bit of a retcon. Like, he got a bit ahead of himself by announcing Kaido as the victor, but that has now been revised, and Luffy is our official
Quite funny.
winner of the punch fighting. Although
The
I feel
punch
like
fighting.
that doesn't help much for people who still think that Kaido will get back up. And if anything, the argument will be, well, the narrator lied about Kaido, so he's probably lying about Luffy as well. In my opinion, I think we're done. I'm sure that in many lesser manga, or even some sort of game, a cheap thrill would be to have Big Mom and Kaido emerge from the magma in some sort of final fusion.
Merged together as some weird entity. No.
This has achieved everything that it needed to. So now we get to celebrate and move on. I'm very interested in what's going to happen to the landscape of Wano, though, because Oda's little mini-map makes it look like a huge part of the island is about to crack and break.
Yeah.
Which in one way might be Luffy sort of accidentally opening up Wano to the world. And hey, maybe all of the magmas will harden and expand Wano into an island that's easily accessible to everyone.
But they
Although
did.
in regards to that, we
He
do have
did
some
say that he didn't want to open it yet.
Shuts that idea down. But here's another thought, though. It is not dawn yet. And I feel like that's the key moment we're all waiting for in order for this nightmare to be over.
Maybe.
Just that first ray of warm, comforting sun guiding us into the significantly much more better future. And I mean, if anything, we've actually made that a lot more difficult because that eruption might obscure the sunrise. A hint of warmth that I absolutely loved, though, was Yamato's smile directed at an unconscious Luffy. It gave me such a
Please
swift
join
awaken in
the Straw Hats.
because it took me all the way back to Alabasta when
Please
Nefertari Cobra smiled
join the
after
Straw Hats.
Luffy defeated Crocodile. You know, it's the whole, kid, you just did the impossible. You saved me and everyone I care about, and you didn't have to do that. So I have all of the thanks in the world for you. But the most emotional moment of the chapter came from a fairly unexpected source, which was Toko. And I just, that came close to breaking.
Talking about her dad and that, like,
precious element of Wano, even more so than Tom. She is the epitome of tragedy, but also the perfect example of the future that we've been fighting for. And I think it was very important that we took some time to linger on resolving her relationship with Yasu. And also taking time for Yasu in general, actually. He's a character who probably would have been quite easily forgotten about. So I really like that Oda juxtaposed Kaido's defeat with the memorial of Yasu's actions. Because without his sacrifice, we never would have stood a chance. And then watching Toko mature and change her wish to just a thank you message.
That was cute.
That was just so emotional, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Now, we do need to talk about this whole Yasu thing, because I think we've had a bit of a retcon here. In chapter 1050, it's implied that Yasu ate a smile fruit, and it's done in like this super sweet way, where he doesn't want Toko to suffer alone, so Yasu decides to suffer with her in an attempt of comfort. It's stupidly sweet and fatherly and all of those things, but in his Vivica Databook entry, it was confirmed that Yasu did not eat a smile. And it was also said that he encouraged victims of the smile with a big smile on his face, essentially implying that he was just pretending and bringing a real, genuine smile to this village full of forced smiling and laughter. So I'm not sure how I feel about this revelation. I mean, I do think they're both quite touching in their own ways, but in the end, all that matters is the results of Yasu's actions, which in this chapter can be seen through the character of Tenkuyama. Toko may not be able to voluntarily smile, but he can. And watching Toko change her wish to honor Yasu gave him a genuine, heartwarming smile. I also quite like how this whole situation looks from the perspective of Toko. Essentially, she changed her wish, said thanks to her father, and then immediately after recognizing what Yasu did, Wano is just bam, saved. So to Toko, it's like her father is her own personal hero of this whole situation.
Which is cool. Very cool.
Something else. The people of Wano have finally noticed that stuff is happening.
My
favorite panel of this entire chapter were the vassals walking into the flower capital from the shadows, like ghosts that have returned to complete their unfinished
20 years later.
Not just ghosts, but like guardian deities of the land. The Kozuki legacy re-emerging after 20 long years with the best possible news. Because they're not here to encourage people to fight, they're here to say that we've already won. And this chapter concludes with Denjiro about to introduce the new Shogun of Wano. I can't help but feel a little bit, in fact a lot of suspense here, because it feels like we are finally about to see the form of adult Momonosuke.
Yeah, man, that's going to be so cool. I can't wait.
Just as he's
Adult Momo.
announced as the Shogun, both the readers and the people in the story gaze upon him for the first time in 20 years, and it's just a perfect image of Odin. Although the conspiracy theorist within me wants Denjiro to say something like, and here's your new Shogun, Kozuki Hiyori. Just because, yeah, it'd be a fun little subversion, but admittedly, it makes very little to no sense. Of course, it's also great that everyone initially mistakes Momonosuke for Kaido. In many ways, this is bringing the whole concept of the Fire Festival full circle, because it was designed to worship Kaido as a deity, and now, well, we can still sort of do that, just with a legitimate heroic dragon dude. Although I suppose one of the more intrigue-heavy aspects of Chapter 1050 is Momonosuke's conversation with Zunesha, because this isn't something I expected. Momo has made his choice, and he will delay the opening of Wano. It's a curious decision. On the one hand, it makes sense. It's a solid conservative choice, given that Momo knows firsthand what kind of destructive forces are lurking in the outside world. But I can't help but wonder if Momo is using the knowledge of Odin's journal in order to inform his choice. Like after witnessing Luffy as Joy Boy, he's picked up on something and realized that it simply isn't time
yet.
The thing
You've got to wait just a little bit longer.
Landing at Laugh Tale and going, damn, I guess we were a little bit too early. Narratively, I also think it's a great move because it preserves some of that sweet, sweet mystery, which is the driving force of One Piece. And Luffy is the kind of character
love
who Momo's decision,
how much mystery there still is.
Questions. He'll just be like, yeah, okay, you do you. I'm gonna go punch some more things now. Which means that we, as the readers, may be kept in the dark about Momo's thoughts, because we usually see this world from Luffy's perspective. Now, on a rather miscellaneous note, I would like to congratulate Scratchman and Boo for officially being the last relevant antagonist standing, which I don't
yeah, everyone else has been taken out.
Apu's whole role on Wano has very much kind of fizzled out, and of all of the characters on the island, he is the one who still has yet to fulfill any kind of purpose for me. So I'm imagining, because he's still here, that Oda has something prepped for Apu. Not necessarily, in fact, it's incredibly unlikely to be a fight at this point, but just some sort of
something
so that there was a point in having him
there the whole time. Yeah, he didn't really do anything at all.
I would be shocked if he didn't automatically attempt to join forces with Luffy, or maybe even flee to Blackbeard with some of those juicy informations. Because Apu, he just doesn't seem like the kind of guy who works well on his own. He
No,
needs
not at
the
all.
equivalent of a sugar daddy to sustain his lifestyle of sheer dickery. To the cover story now, and we've had a big mystery revealed, and as it turns out, the most obvious answer was correct. Whichever online foot enthusiast correctly identified Reiju's shoes was 100% accurate, as Reiju and Ichiji are confirmed to be the ones who have invaded Whole Cake Island in order to rescue Niji and Yonji. So rather sadly, I do think we need to say goodbye to the Blackbeard idea. And yeah, it was fun while it
Germa
lasted,
66
but
coming
to be
back,
fair,
woo.
This is a Germa cover story. And I guess it's kind of turning into a Whole Cake Island sequel, with Germa infiltrating on a rescue mission and then probably needing to escape, except maybe instead of fleeing Big Mom, they're running from Katakuri or something. But Katakuri aside, the thing I'm hoping for most consists of 2 words, and those words are Caesar Clown. That boy needs a way off the island, and he's a very natural ally of the Germa with his interest in all of the science
That's
stuff.
true,
Plus, historically,
yeah.
former villains make for some of the very best cover story protagonists. Other than that, I'm not really sure what I should be trying to predict here, because at the moment it all seems fairly cut and dry. Rescue the siblings, and F off. But I'm sure that Oda, as always, has something more intriguing in mind, so I very much...
He's a clever man. He's a very, very clever man.
It's another video, though. It's great, I promise, so I look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. Yeah. Man. I loved the chapter. I thought it was absolutely class. Yeah, I really can't wait to see adult form Momo, man. That's going to be really cool. Hope he looks similar to Odin, and just can't wait to see what happens next. So yeah, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video upload, links in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all that helps support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that, guys. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch or discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.